Good. Oh, hello, and welcome to the Bee Formless Flow Driven CEO podcast. There I go. I nearly went and said good morning, but I'm welcoming here Michelle Boisvert. Boisvert. I got that wrong. I got
Oh,
that
so
wrong.
close though. It's okay. Boisvert, Michelle Boisvert.
Boisvert, Boisvert. I'm going to get that right at some point. All the way from Massachusetts. I shouldn't say all the way because I'm all the way in Australia. Massachusetts in the USA, where it's roughly around 6 p.m. there on a Monday, and it's Tuesday morning here. Welcome to the show, Michelle.
Well, thank you so much, Bea. I am thrilled to be here and very excited to chat with you.
Yeah, I'm super excited too because we were just comparing ages and we're very young, but
Yes.
and you've started your own business, and they say people in their later life, what do they say, like 40s, early 50s, they kind of hit their stride, and a lot of successful women and men go into business at that age. So what a time, right? You've just started your own business yourself. So have I, only a couple of years ago. So let's talk
Yes.
about that a little bit because you're a speech language pathologist,
Yes.
assistive technology specialist, and you're the co-founder of EasyReportPRO. You have
Yes.
over two decades in education and clinical practice. And Michelle, you've experienced firsthand the administrative burden and burnout faced by special education teams, which I can only imagine. I totally empathize with burnout.
Yeah.
Speech language pathologists and other specialists. And so then you've set up, and I didn't ask you how long ago you launched Easy Report Pro, but essentially it's a smart template powered, ethically designed platform,
Yes.
streamlines the process of writing professional reports, cutting hours of manual work down to minutes without compromising accuracy or compliance. And by the sounds of
Exactly.
things, your work bridges clinical expertise and technical innovation. So you empower professionals to focus more on the client care and less on the paperwork. It's so interesting
That
that
is like,
while championing tech that enhances rather than replaces human connection. I love
yep.
that.
Yep. That is our goal. Yes. So I have been a speech and language pathologist in the schools for well over 20 years. And part of that job, and I know in Australia you have speech and language pathologists, audiologists, allied healthcare professionals, and part of our job is um, conducting evaluations and writing up reports, and these often take hours and hours to do. They have to be legally compliant, they have to be accurate, and we also have to present them at meetings. And a lot of this work, a lot of this workload, because our caseloads are so high, we often bring our work home and write all of these reports at home. And of course, that impacts that work-life balance. I have, well, my two kids are off at college now, but when I first started this software, I had two kids at home. I wanted to be home. I wanted to be present with them. I did not want to be stressing about work. And so my husband and I actually collaborated to develop this platform that uses smart templates so clinicians can bring in their own expert written templates, which we all use, but leverage and have access to kind of automated type of technology to streamline all of the manual components of report writing. And it literally does cut down report writing from hours to, I think somebody emailed us the other week and said,
Oh,
oh,
this always happens. Sorry, we're coming to the end of winter, so that's springy
yeah,
bit, Yeah. Sorry.
that's okay, but less than 30 minutes. So that is a huge time savings, and it also results in error-free reports. So we can feel more confident when we're presenting and giving these reports to stakeholders, families, uh, other team members, lawyers, advocates, whoever's going to be reading them.
Wow. And so how long have you had the business for?
So we had our first prototype was actually built over COVID.
Oh,
Um, we had we had hard coded this type of platform just for my use only because I was feeling this massive overwhelm. I do well over 100 evaluations a year,
wow.
and again, it takes at least 4 to 5 hours just for the writing part of um, one of these reports. So we had hard coded one of these up this program just for me. And I literally immediately saw the difference. But we couldn't quite, it didn't quite click as to how can we program it in a way that other people can have access to it and that it can be customized and people can add their own templates into it, and access, of course, the automation or those smart features. And it was really kind of over COVID when we had a lot of time to think, a lot of time to like process life and think about how not only how reports are written, but how the programming around this type of platform could work. And so we prototyped it, I would say 3 years ago, and it's really been up and running the past 2 years.
Oh wow. Oh wow, that's so
Yeah, so we're
cool.
gonna go.
It's really interesting. Excuse me, I was reading a stat over the weekend, in Australia, in comparison to the world, is our burnout was up at like 80, in the 80s or whatever, and then
Yeah.
the rest of the world is sitting at, I think, in the high 40s. What
Hmm.
I found fascinating was I was also then at a women in business networking event the other week, and I know you use smart templates, but
Yeah.
Australia is the slowest take up in the world when it comes to AI. And I was like, and so you put those two
Yes.
together, right? You go optimization, burnout, like
Yeah.
exactly what you're talking about when you're doing hours of admin paperwork
Yeah.
versus automating and optimizing.
Right.
You put the two and two together and you kind of go, well, it makes sense because
Right.
we're the slowest to take up AI. We're the slowest. And then we've got this extremity in burnout because we're always on at 20, we're 24/7
Yeah. We're
and
in a
no one
stress
can keep,
culture. Yeah.
yeah, and no one can keep up, right? And
Right.
so, smart templates, AI. I know you said you've got some basic AI in
Hmm.
your system, but
Hmm.
it's making such a difference in the world, full stop, in terms of how we're working when you are
Right.
able to automate, because it eliminates so much from the burden on you that you've got so much to do, and then you can
Right.
focus and exceed at what you're meant to exceed at, which is like
Exactly.
the customer
Yes.
care, like you're talking about, right? Like, yeah.
That is the exact reason why we wanted to build a platform like this. I sometimes say when I talk to professionals, like, in order to be a speech and language pathologist or any type of allied health care, we need a lot of education, we need a lot of training, and we didn't go through all of that to copy and paste, find and replace, like manually type things. We can leverage technology really strategically and ethically to kind of to really pinpoint and use technology for those types of workload tasks that absolutely free up our expertise and that kind of cognitive energy, that mental focus that we just simply gets freed up and focus our expertise where it needs to be focused on. And that could be things like client care. That could be things like consultations. That could be things like really helping families how to carry over, specific strategies or tips that we're suggesting for rehabilitative care.
So were you in the throes of burnout yourself when this was all going on and you were like, there's got to be a better way to do this?
Oh, yes. I was like, can I do anything else besides being a speech language pathologist? I'm like, I can work at a coffee shop. I can, like, it kind of hit that point where um, I don't know if you've ever felt, you've mentioned that you've felt burnout, but like just like this overwhelm where I felt almost like stopped, like I just had to stop and I just had to like rethink what was like kind of keeping me up. I wasn't able to sleep. I wasn't spending time with my kids. My kids were younger at the time. And I was just really unhappy. And I'm like, I don't want to feel this way. But what's really cool, if I didn't feel that way, we wouldn't have come up with a solution like the solution that of EasyReportPRO. We wouldn't have looked at ways to kind of tunnel out of this kind of burnout and overwhelm.
Yeah, I know.
So,
I had exactly that.
yeah,
Like it was, I crashed and burned, and I think that's why for me it's that inside out transformation. What is it that you lose a sense of purpose, right? Because you're just
Yeah,
in this rat
right.
race, and you just almost like you're just like, no more. I can't focus on anything. I
Right.
can't function. I'm not present with my family. I'm not present in my job. Nothing's fulfilling me. So
Yeah,
digging into, well, what is it that is fulfilling you, and then finding a way where you can. I call it shine your brightest by feeling and performing your best. And that's when you are able to access the flow state, get into the zone, it's effortless versus efforting. So
right,
what do we subtract? What do we subtract that is no longer serving us? And then how do we
right,
imagine and recreate and reshape, which is essentially what you've done, and come
right.
up with a model where you're like, this is the future. This is the
Yes.
future of speech pathology. Because I could only
Yeah.
imagine that like it's probably very archaic in healthcare and in health services in terms of the systems that have been around forever in a day.
Yeah, so it really depends on the setting, but traditionally, what a lot of us do, what a lot of people in my field, and this goes with special education, other fields like occupational therapy, physical therapy, psychology. Typically, what we have when we write these reports are text-based templates. So they're like, oh my gosh, so many pages and pages of like what a report kind of looks like and all the little bits and pieces that could possibly go into a report. And then after we do an evaluation, so we test. And in public schools in the United States, we have to test students for an initial evaluation in order to get specialized services, and then every 3 years. So we do these series of tests to see, do they still qualify for services? And then, of course, after we test, we have to write up that report. And so, how most of us do it is, again, they have like their Google Docs or they have their Word doc, and they have to go in, they have to go find that template that they need, or sometimes like reuse a report that they just used, but they have to find and replace like the name and the preferred gender, they have to switch out like scores that they have in the test and make sure it matches what they have in the narrative. They have to, plug in, like manually plug in like all of these different things. It's a lot of manual labor. And it's so time consuming.
Yeah.
Not only that, but errors. It's so easily to have unintentional errors in our reports. And these reports go to families, they go to our colleagues, they go to our supervisors. And of course, when you pass in or hand in a document with an error in it, it reflects poorly on us.
Yeah.
It can be embarrassing. We can lose trust in our team members. And of course, we don't want that. And so when we're able to leverage this type of technology that we've been able to develop, it eliminates all of that. And so, yes, you get this time, you just speed up time, you get error-free reports, but then you also get more confidence. You could feel really good handing in a report, presenting at a meeting, and you're not going to get called out that you have the wrong name in a report or something like that.
Yeah, that's cool. So
So,
you hit burnout, you come up with this idea, you prototype it with your husband.
yeah,
How then did you get back I guess your confidence, your joy? Like how did like because you kind of said you were thinking about leaving speech pathology,
yeah,
but then you start to work on, hang on a sec, there's got to be a solution to this. So what was it?
yes.
What was the moment that you went, no, I don't want to leave this industry, but I need to fix it?
It was like that aha moment. So it was when my husband and I first figured out we can make a scalable platform, and we just kind of put it out there. Like we built it, we put it out there. We didn't even do any marketing yet, but people like I remember like we got this payment when we're like, wait a second, like we just got this like payment from like PayPal. We're like, what the heck is this for? And it was the first time anyone had ever bought the platform. This was before like, so people are searching for a solution if they have this type of problem. And then we started connecting with people. We started getting feedback from people. People started telling us like how much time this saved, like ideas. Hey, can you guys do this? And we're like, yeah, we can do that. And they're like, oh my God, this is amazing. And So it really became kind of like a community. And that excitement, that joy, that ability for us to work collaboratively with people we've never met, but people who are like, I get this. I love it. Hey, what about this idea? Or what about that idea? And us being like, we can totally do that. And so it's really, I say we developed like the prototype, but it's people giving us feedback and insight about how this platform is working for them that has made it like blossom and grow and become incredibly useful and helpful for people who are struggling with the same issues.
Yeah, how exciting! How cool! How cool is that? And has it? It's like you said, it's got scalability. It's got legs.
Yes. Yep.
We're in this situation where, well, not situation. We're in a world that is rapidly changing with tech.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
how are you guys staying up with the tech
Relevant.
and everything else? And like, because you said it's smart templates versus you've got a bit of AI in it. Like, how are you
Yeah.
ensuring that it's like, because we're in this transition for me from the old
We
world into
are.
the new world.
Right. So this is the way I love this question because obviously as AI has become more and more prevalent, people are always asking me this. So this is how I kind of think about it. Smart templates, which again, the underlying technology there is automation. These are expert written documents. They are reliable. They are the same every time. So every time I kind of put in, say, a score for a test, my expert written verbiage will get put in there. I know exactly what it will say. So it's very reliable. I can feel very confident going in, like into a meeting, like knowing that my legal document says what I want it to say. There's no errors in it. Um, Again, because of the way that we use automation, if there's just simply no errors, so it's reliable, it's error free, and it gives us as a clinician this great deal of consistency in our reports. Now, with AI, especially with generative AI, of course we know it rewrites itself every time it you ask it to. So I can ask it to write a paragraph once, it'll give me something awesome. I can ask it to write the exact same paragraph on the exact same scores, and it'll give me something different. So that level of unreliability is not what we want when going into high stakes meetings or high stakes
Yeah.
situations where, we need to feel really confident with the information. AI also has a relatively high hallucination rate, as I'm sure you know, or error rate. Sometimes it doesn't give the correct information. I want to make sure I'm pulling from my expertise, my knowledge base, not like kind of a general language model
Mm.
as well. So we use kind of more traditional AI to help improve the flow and cohesion, say, of like checklists to turn them into paragraphs. But we do not use AI to pull in test write-ups from scores because those are such high stakes, valuable, like bits of information
Yeah, get it.
that, yeah, they can't be wrong. They have to be our words and they have to be accurate.
Yeah, that's cool. So, but are smart templates, are they constantly evolving, like in terms of like from a future perspective as well? Like is the technology in smart templates evolving also?
So it totally depends on the expert. So my template, so I can put in my expert written templates into EasyReportPRO, use the automation features. So I kind of streamline all of that manual work. So the template part of it evolves as my knowledge, as my own personal knowledge base
Ah,
evolves. And then I go in and I can like change the wording.
that's
So
cool.
it's not, yeah, yeah. So it's really expert driven. Um, and I would say like clinical expertise driven rather than like a large language model that's kind of driving the narrative of the report.
Do you think there's more intuitive capabilities in what you're doing versus, say, like using AI? Like, because it's more human and smart templates, like, is it more intuitive?
So I guess what I would say is it could be more, it is more intuitive because we're really focusing on the human expert, the
Yeah.
human connection, the human knowledge of the type of clients that we work with. Like the population of clients that I work with is very different than my colleague, who works with the So our templates are very different. Um, but the way that I write and the way that I want my voice to come across can really be lifted up or leveraged using smart templates versus AI, because AI would overwrite my voice. It would rewrite it. Um, Rather with smart templates, like I can use my own expert voice, my own background, my own, thinking in terms of the way I want to present my diagnostic findings.
Yeah.
And that is very, like,
Yeah.
very person centered. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And are you seeing that it's eliminated a lot of what you were going through in terms of burnout? Are people
Yes.
telling you that like they're seeing a tangible difference?
Yes. People are telling us they are saving hours every single time they write a report. And so that in and of itself is really exciting. People are also saying they are feeling that confidence, which is what I really love because when you're happy at work, it kind of causes a ripple effect.
Yeah.
Like when you're happy and you're confident at work and you're rocking it. Like you're able to kind of present your best self forward. That of course kind of ripples through everything, our entire life. That ripples through how we act at home, how we interact with our colleagues, with our partners, with our children. And so kind of being able to provide people with a tool that works, and it of course if it doesn't work for somebody, we don't want them using it, go find another tool,
Yeah,
right?
100%.
Like a tool that works, that can really make an impact on this very stressful part of our job. That's We love it, and we get emails all the time or comments all the time about how it is making a difference in people's lives, professional lives.
It must be so satisfying because you're absolutely right. Like, work is such a big factor in our lives, right? And it always has
Yes.
been for me. I switched it around where it was like, how do I get work to fit into my life versus life fitting into work? Because
Yeah.
probably was happening for you when you were just constantly stuck to the computer, writing
Yeah.
reports and doing all of that. I think it
Right.
totally changes you as a person in terms of the ability to be a more soulful, what I call a more soulful leader that's conscious. You've got that
Right.
presence, but you've got the performance piece and you've got a sense of purpose. It's all there.
Absolutely.
And then it
Yeah.
translates into like life. It translates into everything. And I think that more and more, like, coming back to the start, I said to you at the start of the pod, that's what we need. The world needs more of that sort of way forward than
Yes.
we're so used to, and like the hustle and the efforting. It's like, who says? Like, it doesn't have to be that way.
Right. And I think what's so interesting, and I think kind of being at this, about to turn 50, kind of going through all of this, is that at least in the United States and where I am, and in my field, it's a very kind of like, our culture really kind of glorifies stress, glorifies like overwork, glorifies being super busy and like, super ramped up. And it's not sustainable. Like you cannot sustain that level of performance, that level of perfection, and being in a type of job where it's for client care. Like we're working with all sorts of, clients every single day. We can't, it was just like, I don't know. I mean, people do it and they are amazing. They're rock stars, but I personally just couldn't do it. And so finding ways to kind of shift that mindset, like it's okay to let go. It's okay to like find another, like disrupt our workflow, find another thing that works better and try it, use it. And if it works, great. If it doesn't, try something else. But
Yeah,
like,
keep pivoting, keep trying
yeah,
into
keep right.
yeah, yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And yeah, and we don't have to be stressed all the time.
No, I
Like
know. It's funny, you've told me twice that you're turning 50.
I am.
How do you feel about turning 50?
It's wild. So, and I'm an empty nester. So my both of my kids went off to college last year. My youngest one went off. I feel like I am just starting. I honestly feel like I am so excited. I am so in love with what I do. I have this renewed sense of not only purpose, but also like, I'm not going to say wisdom, but like just like a little bit of an experience. Experience matters. I don't have to get freaked out all the time about the small things. And not only can I think let things go a little bit, but I'm also um really passionate about helping people find that groove in their professional role, whatever it may be. And yeah, see how that, like, if I truly believe, like, if we're happy in what we're doing, and is a big chunk, especially as women, like we have so
Yeah,
many different
100%.
responsibilities.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, if we can bring this joy into our workplace, into what we do, then again, it just like spreads, and we're powerful. we like
Yeah, I agree.
we're so powerful. We have
Yeah.
so many great ideas. We have so much, I think, purpose, and I feel like we're understated. So I feel at this point of my life, turning 50, I'm really excited. I'm like, I love it.
Oh,
Bring it
that's cool.
on.
Because I was
Yeah.
questioning, I was wondering, oh, is she feeling okay about it, or is she like going,
Yes.
oh gosh? So yeah, no, I think the older I'm getting, I just turned 48, and I'm like,
Yeah,
game on. Like I'm just only hitting my strides now. Just
exactly.
all that lived experience has got you to here,
Yep.
and I
Yep.
think you're right about the wisdom, and I think that you have the journey you have.
Yeah.
So tell me,
Right.
I've got a couple of last questions for you.
Yep.
What has been the biggest challenge in terms of building your own business?
So, so actually the biggest challenge, oh my gosh, there's been a few. Um, So I was never really into social media, and I'm still not. It still like gives me tension in my back to like even think about. So like learning how to message is very different. Like being a speech and language pathologist, go to graduate school, get a job, kind of that. I, I never had to like learn how to message or learn how to like when an S, how to like
SEO.
different like SEO, like all these different types of marketing things. So the marketing component has definitely been a journey for sure. The other thing that's been very surprising is talking to people about change. So people in my field are very like we kind of learn a certain way of doing things. In this case, it's the tools that we use to write a report. We're often using those text-based templates, those find and replace that whole cycle. So talking about like shifting or changing a learned pattern or a learned habit has been really, really interesting.
Yeah,
Change is
it's
pain for some people.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of resistance there, isn't there? And there's a lot
Yeah.
of fear.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah.
and it's kind of understanding what is it? Like I've got this whole
Right.
tool I use with clients around talk me through the resistance. They look at me like, oh, I've got no resistance. I'm like, I think you do, you might. But
Right.
it's like that whole unpacking it. And I think that because like we've been so ingrained and trained to do it
Exactly.
this particular way, the thought
Yes.
of unraveling that is like, do not, like, don't touch it sort of thing where it's like,
Right.
so yeah, I think, and then that comes back to messaging, right? Because my background's advertising. So I did it for 25 years. And so then
Wow.
how do you get into that inner psyche? So then it's kind of playing with that messaging to kind of get it so that it's like, well, what's going to change behavior? What's going to change their
Right.
mindset?
Right.
So it sounds like, but it sounds like you've been upskilling as well in since taking on your own business, like starting your own business with your husband. Like, so you've continued
Yes.
to upskill. You're a better person for it. Like,
Yep. Yeah. So definitely upskilling, learning from basically everyone and anyone I can. Networking, like the power of networking and being kind of in a group of people who are also leaders in our field, who are very supportive, have that collaborative mindset versus like competition mindset is incredibly helpful and really, really, I find that to be, I, it's super interesting because I find I never knew like this group of people like were out there until I was looking for it. And then, people are everywhere and we're having these types of conversations all the time. I'm like, where was this, 3 years ago, 5 years ago? Like, but it's cool. When we're aware of things and kind of open to things, it happens.
I
And
think you're absolutely right. I think it's when
yeah,
we're open to things, we've got to like, and it's almost like we've got to do a bit of the work actually and understand well what's actually going on within us. What
yeah,
what's this isn't working for me anymore. So how do I
yeah,
reshape it? How do I move forward? And then how do I keep, testing, learning, iterating, testing,
right,
learning, iterating, which is exactly what you're doing. What
right.
would be, I mean, I know you've pretty much like you wanted to talk when you answered the pod question, you said you wanted to talk about um, how providing accessible tech. So,
Yeah,
it's improved our presence in high demand roles and reduces burnout. We've talked about ethical tech and it can foster efficiency and joy in our professional and personal lives. What would be what would be one piece of advice you would give somebody who's at a crossroads? So they're like, do I go here? Do I go here?
right. Oh, that's a great question. Um, I, I would say like in terms of the, so are you talking about in terms of a professional role or how
Oh
they're
no,
like thinking about
I didn't finish the
technology?
question, did I? No, in terms of, I think it's like whether it's life or leadership or professional role.
Yeah.
Yeah, what would you? Because
What would I
they're
say?
interconnected in my mind. So yeah,
Right. I think if people, it's kind of hard to know what makes one happy and even like what makes me happy. But I think at least what my experience has been is that when I'm in like the flow, when I'm doing something that I really enjoy doing, it doesn't feel like work. Like it's
effortless.
lovely.
Yeah,
It's effortless. When I'm doing something like trying to post on social media, uh, it just 100% feels different in my body, and that I would consider that like work, even though I know it's a necessity for my company. So I guess I would ask people, or I would suggest like kind of to if people were just kind of like settle in and think about what part of their job gives them the most joy, then there is 100% a path that will lead them to that end point or even to that midpoint. The cool thing about allied health is that there's so many things that we can do with our degrees, with our education. Like, did I ever think I would start an a, a software platform when
yeah,
I
I
was,
love it.
25 graduating from graduate school? Absolutely not. But I had this experience that kind of triggered a change. I needed to change, and now I'm in this direction, and I'm doing it with the exact same degrees as I had as a speech and language pathologist. So,
I love
and
that.
it's what I love. Yeah.
Yeah, Michelle, thank you so much. How do we find out more about Easy Report Pro?
So, thank you also. So of course you can go to EasyReportPRO.com. That is our website that will give you lots of really great information. I'm also available on social media, Instagram at Michelle Boisvert. Facebook, you can find us at Easy Report Pro. I'm on LinkedIn and just started Substack. So
Oh, cool. Yeah, I'm
yeah,
in Substack. I've got to get my post up this week. It's like, you know
yes,
what else it is? It's the consistency of each week, what you're going to do. Like, I'm not like one of those people that's regimented. I'm like, I'll get it out this week. Yeah. But,
right.
yeah, it's always, yeah, can take up so much of of your job. Like, because I do it all
Oh
with
my gosh, I know.
I'm
Yes,
intentional. I don't just want to just spray things out there. Like I think about
right,
it. Like it comes back to this smart template. You could get AI to do it all, but it's not me. So
right.
I really do think about it. Michelle, thank you
Yeah.
so much. It's been great.
Thank you.
It's such a privilege talking to you. I'm fascinated by all your stuff in the background as well. It feels
Oh,
very,
well, do you see Journey Well? That is
Yeah.
the picture back there. And books, yeah.
Yeah, it's very cool. I mean, I've got my woman there, so you've got
I
your,
know.
yeah,
Gorgeous.
yeah, all the thinking. But thank you so much. Have a
Thank you.
wonderful evening and have a wonderful week.
Thank you. You as well. And again, thank you so much for having me on. It was really a pleasure.
No, thank you, Michelle. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks.
Bye.